What up? What up? What up? This is Mike, the philosopher, along with Tamara. How you doing?
I'm good. How we doing, folks? I need to get me one of
Hey.
them special lights like you so I can have that Hollywood glow.
Oh, is that what I got?
Yeah, you
Oh
do.
man, I'm gonna keep this rocking then. I didn't think it was like that, but yeah. So this was an interesting episode. Uh, Again, some more transparency, some more things coming out. So a couple things a little shocking. Um, but I'm a gentleman, right? So, ladies first, I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell us about some of these guys. What you got?
Yeah. So I kind of put my notes have the dates because they had to all go with their second choice. And I've
Mm-hmm.
just got thoughts on some things there. Um, my first guy, Clifton, he didn't have a strong presence this episode, but I still feel like he's the top. He did have a date with the Kia,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that was his second choice. I was surprised he didn't have a date with Carmen, so that means Carmen wasn't number two for him.
Yeah.
Like I thought she might have been. I did like
I
what you
kind
said.
of, I didn't, I think I said that last time. I didn't think they were, I thought she was more connected with Eric, but
Yeah,
I know he
yeah.
gave her a plate and all that, but I didn't know how much that meant. But go ahead.
Okay, okay. I think that him having a second look at Daki, I thought that was important because Daki is one of my favorites. She's probably my second favorite to Joy.
Okay.
Um, because of course, it's a kinship. She's an engineer, and she's a dancer, so she's got a lot to offer to me, to a man. She's probably got a logical mind or whatever, and she could probably be a really good partner to
Yeah.
build your dreams with. But I think you got to be the certain kind of guy to appreciate that. So for him to circle back and like, let me see if she can let her hair down, because I just feel like she's a flirt, but she's not a flirt like Joy. It's a little different.
Yeah. It's
Um,
a different energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I was proud of him for circling back on Takia because I think he would be a good match with her too. Um, because
Um,
he's a, even though
I don't
I just
know.
think that she could level him up some, but I don't know what he does. I don't know what he wants out of life, that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Right, right,
So, but if he wanted to build something, I think she might be a good choice too.
right, right.
So he's still my number one. Let's see. Laverne might have dropped a little bit for me. Now, I mean, I still think me and him need to hang out and go. But
Hey
his
man, was he your number two? I guess he
remember
was, huh?
he was always my number one, but he dropped because I just feel like Clifton's all around. I could run off into the set with Clifton, right?
Okay, okay,
Laverne is purely physical,
okay, okay.
for me. But then there's that I like his swag too. I'm drawn to his personality type. Um,
Hmm.
but his date with Ace bothered me, not because of him, but because of her. And that
Oh my good.
I felt like she was fake. She was like, "Is that how you do?" Oh, I just was like,
I
"Girl."
know, yeah.
Um, Now, if I was being cynical, I would
Hmm.
say Laverne was being strategic with his date with her.
Okay, go into it
Because
because I'm about to go in.
he says, you know what you need to do? Tell everybody I'm your man. I'm gonna tell them you mine, and we're gonna make it to the end. We're gonna run off into the sunset. Now that could have been taken as one of two ways. One way, like genuinely, I want to run off into the sunset with you,
Hmm.
or the other way as the strategy. Hey, here's the cliff notes on how we're gonna play this game. Let's do that.
Hmm.
Um, so to me, it maybe it's the way they chopped up the editing. It felt like more number two, like the strategy.
Let me say this. To me, Vern, he's a horrible listener. I said this in the last episode. I don't have no reason to hate. This ain't no hate. This is just what I'm seeing, okay? He's a horrible listener. First of all, Tommy said, choose your second date. and he still chose Ace.
But I thought for him, I think Joy was his first.
Joy is so far gone with Clifton that she's eliminating her second and third choices.
I know.
You see what I'm saying? Laverne ain't even nowhere in the picture. So I don't even like she
that's on her side though, not on his side. He feels like Joy is his first choice. Ace is second.
When was Joy his first? This is what I was saying before. I think that the brother is super frustrated that the women that he like ain't giving him time of day.
Who's the women he liked?
Joy, for one. I thought Sabrina was at one point too, but he's so far he bitter with Sabrina now. Who was another one? I think that was pretty much it.
I think I've only heard him talk about Joy and Ace. I've never heard him talk about anybody else.
Yeah, I've never even really seen, unless I'm missing something, I've never really even seen him enjoy, chemistry.
They had a date. It was a really good date. You don't remember the pottery date they had?
Oh, that was so.
Then the bowling. I mean, but
in RTL days, that is years ago because.
That's your interpretation. You don't know if they're talking on the phone, right?
That's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, even with Carmen, I thought he had even a closer thing with Carmen because as soon as she got on the show, he gave her cheeks to squeeze, and I thought that he was gonna.
I didn't think that meant anything. I thought that was him, and I told you that you thought I was hating. I didn't think him and Carmen had a thing. I just think he was feeling her out. I didn't. Because I never heard him talk about her again.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I thought the same about the pottery date. Like that was just pottery, and then that was, I mean, she was actually multi-dating both him and Eric at the time, and she even took more to Eric when they were doing that little multi-date with the pottery stuff. It was like three couples or something like that. It was two women, I think, when it was like or three women or two men or something like that.
Eric and the country dude that's gone were the guys that were there.
And the country dude that's gone?
Yeah, Laverne wasn't at that date when they were painting.
Yeah. Well, no, the pottery you talking about, right?
But the pottery date was just Laverne and Joy. That was their date.
Oh.
Yeah. So to me, and I remember when they did the bowling thing, right? And she's like, I love bantering with Laverne. It don't bother me. It's so much fun. Mm-hmm. But she never talked about Laverne romantically. And I think I wrote on my note, I hate this season because people are getting penalized for having their connection early and making it be known. And so like Joy to me is getting penalized because she kissed Clifton. Mm-hmm. But if that's her strongest connection, which y'all all know, all the women know Joy and Clifton is the strongest connection. They not trying to send him home, but I feel like the men are, because the men like Joy, they know she don't like them back. So I feel like this whole show is irritating me on some level because at the end, you are supposed to end up with the person you have the strongest connection to, but we're penalizing Laverne because he like Ace and Joy, nobody else. So the women are mad because he ain't really talking to me. Same thing they're doing to Joy today. Like, okay, you kissed Clifton. Do anybody have a shot? Of course she's supposed to say yes. But then at the same time, she's like, well, come on, be honest. Me and you, Demetrius, have nothing, right? And I liked that she asked him. I loved it.
I know you loved that part. I felt
the same way. He don't like nobody. He owned the show. I don't think he likes Sabrina that much.
He took out Christina. I wasn't even really expecting that.
Yeah,
as a second connection, he took out Christina and wanted to try to get to know her. And it looked like
surprised by that. You know why she was surprised by that? Because he is lame and he gives no signal. Like you said,
That's
he
not.
gives no tales of who he likes.
That's not why. She was surprised because she seen him kissing on Sabrina, and she felt like she was walking into a couple that was already booed up. And you know, with that, she didn't really feel like there was any room to try to make a connection with him. So that's why she kind of fell back from him. And she actually you know, came in hot talking about, oh well, you know, I thought you was a player and all this other stuff. And he like, why are you prejudging? Why are you prejudging? You know,
I love that.
I thought you would actually give him some slack for saying that, and kind of lighten up on Demetrius a little bit, because it seemed like everybody coming with these preconceived notions about the brother, which is you know, a little shocking to me. She came
you know
in
what
with,
I think, you know why I think that is? Because he's not you can't read him. You know,
but is that a bad thing? Like some women like a little mystery behind their man. Okay, and that's fine.
If you are into me or you're into her, it should be shown. It should be obvious, right? I feel like Demetrius is playing the I'm gonna stick on the show game, honestly. So that's why he's like, I'm being intentional. He kept saying intentional, like 2 episodes ago. But now you hear in this episode that there's a lot of women that like him. I don't know why, but they do. And I think he playing them all the same way. I think he might not be repeating the same lines like dude from last season, but I think he's keeping them all warm. He's keeping them all simmering, which is as a strategy to stay on the show.
He never really got a chance.
He likes anybody one more than the other. And I don't believe he likes anybody that much, to be honest. Because he doesn't give strong signals. And I think you should by this point.
Okay. I'm gonna respectfully disagree. Being a chocolate mysterious brother myself, I get where he's coming from. But the thing is this, he never really got a chance to get to know Christina. So I think it was a good move to try to take her out and get to know her. You know, honestly, he's probably you know, second most attracted to her. You know, that's probably his second connection. And you know, just because a brother move a certain type of way, it's funny because Laverne get all kind of concessions.
Okay? With me, that's with me. I think most women probably. I know you read. I don't read blogs. I don't know how other women feel about him. That's just me.
Right. But Demetrius gets none, and it seems like he's always the first to get prejudged. Now, part of that probably is his fault for not being, I guess, predictable. But he's a military guy. He ain't supposed to be predictable. He's supposed to read the room, see what's going on, be strategic, be intentional, and strike. That's how military men move. Some women, that's not their taste. I get it. But at the same time, I don't think that the guy is lame. I don't think that the guy is, you know, doesn't have any intentions. He told Christina, I'm looking for a wife. Okay. So I you know, I don't know how you get, he's, you know, he's not being intentional. Like he's one of the first and only guys I heard utter those words. I'm looking for a wife out of this process.
I know, and I like I said last time, he's wearing intentional out, but the reality is it's not translating to the women that he has intentions. That's why she was surprised he asked her out, because the way it looked to her, he didn't have any intentions. That's a behavioral thing. He can say what he wants, right? Again, you're talking about moves. Because we're in a world where people say anything, to me, it's a show me thing. You can say what you want, right? But
he invited her out. How is that not?
Actions should be congruent. They shouldn't be orthogonal. And to me, the way he moves, he's not intentional about anything.
He invited her out. How can that not be intentional? He invited her out.
That's fair enough. You know what I think he doing? Just like what Donovan did. Well, I need to make some connections, so I'm just going. The ladies that I think are attractive, I'm going to invite them out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what he should do, because he can see who's already kind of connected up, right? So I just feel like that's what Demetrius is doing. And I don't like him. Even when he was talking to her, I felt like he was edgy. I don't know. I just don't like his style.
Okay.
Every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, because even the comment that Laverne was making, it wasn't necessary to cut him off. If you don't like Laverne, you don't like Laverne, but he's not saying anything that was foul.
It wasn't just him. It was all the brothers in the camp.
It wasn't all. It was 2 or 3. But again, I know they don't like Laverne. So, but I still don't feel like, what did he say that was so foul? The
women don't either.
What did he say that was so foul though?
Well, Laverne comes off as Laverne comes off as a bit arrogant and a bit of a know-it-all. Like even with his, at least, even with and you don't care about stuff like that. But when
I do care about it. It just doesn't. It doesn't.
But since it's Laverne, it doesn't bother you.
That's a them problem.
Since it's Laverne, it doesn't bother you. But let Demetrius do the exact same thing, and you would have all kind of problems with it.
I don't like him. I mean, and
I get it. I get it. I'm just, I don't like the guy. I know, and I get it. I'm just trying to discern where the bias is coming from. I get that you're more attracted to Laverne, okay, and that's probably where the concessions begin and end. But at the same time, I don't feel that that's fair to some of the other guys because, like I said this in a couple of episodes ago. Whoever you're attracted to, you want to,
right? But my thing about Demetrius, even when he was talking to Precious on the date they had with the sling things, I felt like he was being a little edgy with her. I just think his communication style is undesirable to me. If I was on the show and he talked to me in the tone that he talked to some of them, I would stay away from him.
Demetrius?
He would be telling me, hey, we haven't had a date. Yep. And I think that's what Joy was trying to say. Like, dude, I'm not feeling you. And I don't think it's wrong for her not to be feeling somebody.
I don't either. I don't think it's wrong for you not to feel somebody.
Because you can't force everybody to be like, because Demetrius is not my type.
Okay.
Even if he never talked, he is not my type. I should be penalized because he's not my type. You gotta sit me down and say I'm not ready to love because I didn't date every single guy. No, I watched you. The way you move would piss me off. So why would I explore that option? Okay. The Joy's like, I'm sick of this. Like, I like who I like.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Why would I spend time with y'all? Why would I do that if I already know you just a friend? Or I don't even, because I get the feeling she don't even like him. She like me. Like, I don't even want to be your friend. I just
right. I get it.
So like what's wrong with that? Why is that foul?
There's nothing wrong with that, but there's something inherently unfair about that. Mainly because it boils down to people not holding others to the same critiques that they hold some of the people they're more attracted to. And this is how some people get kind of I don't want to say played in relationships, but when they are super attracted to somebody and they give them all kind of concessions, they find themselves in a dead-end relationship because they never held the candle to them like they did some of the other people they were maybe less attracted to.
So let me be clear. Let me be clear about what I'm saying.
Okay.
Laverne is not my first choice. I just think Laverne is the most attractive man on the show. I'm just gonna say that.
I get it.
I have Clifton above Laverne. I last week we talked about who you walk away with. Paul was above Laverne.
Yeah, is this your walk away list or is this your
right? No, Eric was above Laverne. Remember we did at the very end. I said,
that's why.
Who would be best compatible with me? Laverne was number 4. So let's be clear about that.
Okay.
But Demetrius, to me, has a style that is not, and for every one woman that don't like Demetrius, there's 5 women that do. So why is there a problem?
It's not a problem, sweetie. It's not a problem.
Just like for me, one woman that like Laverne, there's probably 20 women that can't stand him. It's okay though. We all got our own preference, right?
I get it.
So why I gotta have a speech about being played, right?
I'm just trying to understand the mechanics on how, and this is a social experiment, okay? I'm just trying to understand the mechanics on how people pick people and how relationships develop. This is why I even decided to cover RTL, because I love the psychology of human beings and how they decide to pick one another and what they like in each other. So and it's I love the psychology part of it. So when I see inconsistencies, I just point them out. That's all. And
inconsistent about, and I've been honest that I just think Demetrius is, I don't even think he's a nice guy, to be honest. The way he talked to Precious, I didn't love. The way he talked about, I think he said something crazy today around, maybe it was the other episode with Tori. Like, you don't have to be like, I'm the better man. Like, you don't have, just because that's one of my comments I made about Carmen. Carmen and I have a lot in common, but the one thing I didn't like that she did was throw shade at the kid. If you the sexiest woman going, you don't need to talk about another woman. Mm-hmm. You only need to let that man only focus on you. And so that's like, to me, that's a hater mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think Demetrius has that. I don't appreciate that. Clifton did something like that to Laverne.
Demetrius is now a hater now?
I'm just saying that's a hater mentality. When if you the man, you don't have to talk about the next man.
You throwing all kind of stones at the dude. I'm just trying to get it.
Carmen, and I also threw a stone at Clifton. I didn't just pick him. I gave you 3 examples.
Right.
But not that that's the worst character trait. That's just something I don't prefer. Right? If you such a good man or you such a good woman, there's no reason to say nothing bad about somebody else.
Now you're talking about Carmen, right?
Carmen did do that, right? She talked about the kid.
You're not talking about Demetri.
Demetri did it too on a previous episode, and also Clifton did it to Laverne. I'm just giving you examples of how I'm fair. I'm fairly assessing.
I got you. But
I don't prefer that.
Okay, I got you. And let me say this. Now let's agree on something, okay? Your viewpoint is totally different than the people that are there. True. Okay, so you don't feel Laverne is really doing much. I'm not saying you feel like he's perfect and everything, but you don't feel like he's doing as much wrong as Demetri. However, people on the show feel like Laverne is inapproachable. He's a know-it-all. He think he can fry the best chicken. He think he gonna last the whole season. He think that, he telling all the men, y'all need to do what I say and pick y'all. And all the guys is like, who is you, man? I ain't got to listen to you. This is a new guy hot coming in. What's his name? The new guy? Donovan. He was like, look, and he's new, and he like, look, man, I don't need to take no instructions from you. So I know, but what I'm saying is these are things and offenses that you have charged Demetri with, but Laverne is the one that's doing them. But on the opposite end, nobody is really calling Demetri out. None of the guys are calling.
One other thing Demetri did that I didn't think was fair to Precious. Right? That narrative about her, that he started that. He's like what did I write? I'm not even gonna say what I wrote about him. He a man that throws shade at a woman. Wow. What do you call that? There's a word.
What did he say? What did he say?
he's the one that's just started the narrative that she's only interested in a party, right? And that's where
no. It wasn't just him. He was the messenger. Why don't people understand that? All the men were saying that
about a woman if they a man.
All the men. He was the man that was had the courage to go up to and deliver the message. But he was the messenger. It was agreed upon. It was a consensus with all the men. It wasn't just him. But since Precious got that message from him, she think that whole narrative came from him. It's not fair to him.
And I think it is, and I think that's what he did. But that's okay. When they came out and she said it, I totally agree with her. I was like, what kind of man does that? He don't have to like her, right? But he didn't have to. I just felt like that seed got planted by him. And maybe it didn't. Maybe at the reunion we'll find out something else happened. But if she thought that, I thought that too.
Paul, P.O., didn't even want to deliver the message. As a matter of fact, he was the one saying, oh, don't put me up there. I don't want to talk to the women and say that. But I bet you he was probably one of the main ones who said that about Precious, because he said that in his private messages and in his interviews. He was like, hey girl, you got to slow that down. He is the main one who think that. Not Demetrius. Demetrius was the only one who had the courage to deliver the message.
Again, this is my impression. This is the way it's edited. It could be all wrong. Like, I ain't there. But for me, Demetrius is at the bottom. I don't like him. It doesn't.
I get it. I
also even said when we first started talking, I said Laverne is playing games. I said I can be fair.
Okay.
So don't try to make it seem like I can't be. I just don't like Demetrius. I don't know what he could do to make me like him. I don't like his style.
He can't do anything. I
don't like the way he talks.
Yeah. He can't do anything. I get it.
So can that be okay?
That could be okay. I feel
like it can't though, because
it can be okay. It's just the whole.
Laverne, but I'm being very fair about Laverne.
I'm just trying
strategy with Ace. Laverne is not at my top. I just still think he's the most attractive guy. I'm not gonna stop saying that. But do I think I'm gonna be happy riding off in the sunset with Laverne? He's fourth on my list for that. So you got me defending my choice. I'm not having you defend it. I'm not having you defend it. I'm just saying, I just point out things that I know. This is kind of why we're doing this. Like I say, it's the psychology. I'm just pointing out things that may seem a little inconsistent, and I'm just trying to understand your point of view as to how you are viewing everybody. That's it. That's why I wanted someone with your expertise on the show. I don't have any expertise.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and I'm not afraid to be different from everybody else, because.
But I'm just trying to understand. So with
everybody.
So right? I'm just trying to understand. So with me understanding comes questions and comes concerns and. That's all. I'm not attacking you, dear. Not at all.
I don't like it, but it's okay.
I'm not attacking you, dear. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the root of the issues here. That's all. So
you don't believe that I know you don't believe I've been fair. It's clear I don't like, Demetrius. He's not my type. I just don't like the way he moves. Laverne is dropping on my list. So can you agree that I have some kind of eyes and knowledge and a brain that can
This is your list. This is not my list.
But you wanted to run me down.
I'm just trying to understand your list. This is you have complete autonomy on how your list is manufactured and how it's done. I'm just trying to understand. That's all. So with understanding comes some questions. I'm not attacking your list or anything. I don't got no dog in the fight. I don't like none of the dudes just being a guy myself. I don't have no favorite. I don't have no one nothing like that. Demetri ain't my favorite. I'm not checking for the brothers. I'm not checking for the brothers. I'm checking for the women.
It's not about checking for somebody. It's about evaluating people's character or their compatibility with somebody else, right? And so to me, just like Joy's question, I was applauding her because from what I can see, and I'm not there. She's there. She's like, do you even like anybody? And to me, that was more telling. That validated my feelings about him. Which
exactly.
It validated. Dude's playing some games. He can get away with it because a lot of women like him. That also gets me about him.
Confirmation bias. That's what they call that. Yeah.
So going through my list, if I can move on.
Okay, go ahead.
I liked the.
But can I say this though? So far, your list is spectacular. I just want to say that. So go ahead.
I think you need to start putting out, getting your feelings out for another co-host.
Your list is spectacular.
I don't need to be getting beat up because I haven't.
I'm saying it's spectacular. So go ahead.
All right. So I did Clifton still at the top. Eric, I don't know what happened between him and Dakia. They don't seem like they're telling the story.
Right.
We won't find out till next week. But I thought his date with Carmen was interesting. I still feel like Dakia is was his top choice. I feel like Carmen does think like a man. Like I said, what I wouldn't do is throw shade at another one. That's, to me, that's a foul. Because if you that hot and you that sexy, you don't need to be bringing up another woman. She's a non-MF factor. And so if I could give her a little coaching, that would be that. Paul and Joy's interaction was interesting to me. He was usually like my third or fourth. He dropped a little bit because I felt like he was planting seeds of doubt in Joy's mind. Like, oh, you kissed Clifton. Do any of us, you kind of put it out there. And so don't you think that's a little dangerous for you to do? And,
you're really rocking with practically everything Joy thinks, I'm noticing. Clifton is your number one. You ain't got no connection to Demetrius, and you see her the same way as P.O. or Paul. Like, I mean, even he's dropped on your list. So it's like,
but see, I think Paul and I could build an empire together, because I like the fact that he's driven. I mean, Paul, when we did the assessment last week, Paul was number 2 on my list.
Right.
So
I'm just
dropped a little because I felt like, what's the point of this date? You just want to dig in with her and say, because I mean, I can't tell who Paul's connections are other than Christina. I don't feel like he has any others. Maybe Carmen, but he's supposed to pick his second connection for his date, right? I don't think that's what him taking Joy out. I don't think that was his second choice. I think that was him just being like, hey, since you kissed Clifton and we know that's who you like, maybe that was a little dangerous for you to do. I don't understand why he did that. So that's what I didn't prefer about that one.
But do you agree that you're pretty parallel with Joy? And
it's not intentional.
I'm not saying it's intentional or not. I'm just saying, is that something you would agree with or not?
I would.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
And just now that you bring it up, I don't think that I wake up in the morning and like, what would Joy say?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
right?
I know. I'm not saying that you would think that. I'm just saying it seems like y'all taste is pretty parallel with each other. So. And I
do. Joy is my favorite. And so I'm unlike you. I'm not checking for the women, but Joy's personality is a personality that I prefer, right? If I wanted to hang out with a homegirl, she would be the homegirl that I would hang out with. She's somebody that would be a friend of mine.
Makes total sense, since you agree with practically everything how she's moving. So yeah, makes sense.
So after Paul, poor Tori, he's next. If not Laverne, he's next. Because his date with Precious was weird. And I felt like he was trying to get, because he said they talk a little bit, but it's really surface. And so he was trying to get in there, like, tell me about you. And she dodged it a little bit and then tried to start talking about the kidney thing. And I just feel like this date is bad, right? It's bad and there's nothing there. So of course, Precious. I knew then Precious was going home, and then Tori's gonna go home because I don't think Sabrina is. I don't know what to say about Sabrina. So to me, I know they had to pick their second choice. I would have rather seen Laverne go on a date with Joy. I would have rather seen that because
I don't think Joy would have rather seen that, but
maybe
that's probably the one spot that y'all disagree with. That's the only spot you enjoy disagree on is Laverne.
I have never heard her say she don't like Laverne.
I've never heard her say she do.
I heard her say she has a lot of fun flirting with Laverne. That's what I heard. That's
about it.
What's wrong with that? That's better than I don't like.
Nothing wrong with that, but Laverne, he flirted with Carmen too, and that didn't go nowhere. So
I didn't see that one, but this fair enough,
filling
right?
on the ass cheek, that's not flirting.
My thing is, I would have liked to have seen them two go on a date because on some level, I think that she should explore that one just a little bit because I do feel like she could be compatible with Clifton or Laverne. I do.
Joy?
Yeah, I do. But she's not, so therefore.
Yeah.
Or we haven't seen that. Let me see. Then we go to Donovan. I kind of like what Donovan did, the strategy of taking Tina out, Dakia out, and Sabrina out. He took out, and Carmen, the women that not Tina. The women that he finds attractive. That's the right thing to do. I got to figure this out because it's getting down to the wire, right?
Those connections.
I thought him and Dakia had really nice chemistry. I thought they were well matched. But I thought
him and Sabrina did.
He did too, and I was bored with the two of them a little bit.
Wow.
But if that's what they like, then great. I just think Dakia is so. She might be a lot for like the average guy. I think it's going to take a special guy for her because she's brainy and she's flirty and she's exciting. She just got a lot of facets to her. I don't know that everybody could drink her Kool-Aid, and not in a bad way. I just think she's special. Donovan and Carmen. I don't think Carmen liked Donovan. Carmen's a sex pot. Don't matter what she gonna activate when any man comes around. But I did not see a chemistry between her and him.
Yeah. She didn't. She seemed to dress down this time. She almost seemed like she didn't really try to make an impression on him. It seemed like it was a lunch date, and she was, half interested, but not really. She did that was a date. It looked like she did for the gram or did for the TV. She didn't do it with intention on trying to really get to know that guy. So yeah, I would agree with you.
And the thing with this season that I like and hate is I like that people are doing that because the last couple seasons, everybody's playing a game. This particular season, I feel like I see more people choosing who they prefer, spending time where they prefer, not just to stay to the end, but choosing. That's how last season we ended up with people who didn't turn out to be nothing to each other, was people strategizing on how to stay to the end versus I like Cliff. That's it. That's all. I like Tori's like, I got one connection, it's Sabrina. I tried to do what Tommy said and pick a different person. It ain't nothing there, right? At some point you do get to that. And what's wrong with that? Why are people being penalized for that?
Yeah, I agree. I also think that RTL should do a spinoff show, and it should be after the connections. Right? RTL, you can steal that idea from me. But I think y'all should do a spinoff show after the connections, because I do feel like even if they don't pick each other on the show, they'll still be connected and they can be on the after connection show. Like say for instance, Camille and Corn, right? They didn't last the entire show, but they could have been on the after the connection show, and we would have seen how that relationship would have manifested and where it would have went. because I think you're right. I think the show sort of is designed to punish those who make early connections. And that should not be the goal. It should not be who connects at the finish line, so to speak. It should be those who connect, period. And it seems like the show is more designed to connect at the finish line, which is not, it kind of disappoints the viewers because we want to see the real connections. Right. Like, say for instance, like what they're trying to do with Joy shouldn't have been in the bottom. She shouldn't have been. But because she made an early connection with Cliff, and I'm even hearing some of the ladies saying, oh, Cliff is in the bottom now. I think it was who was it, Precious or somebody? But anyway, one of them said Cliff was in the bottom. So it's almost like those who solidify themselves get punished for it. And I would like to see a spin-off show where the real couples are and they're trying to make their relationship work. You see what I'm saying? But yeah,
I agree. And I think I just, and maybe, of course, when I have my favorites, I want to ride for them. I want to see Joy and Cliff together. And so even them pulling her aside to have a conversation with her was garbage to me.
Pulling who to the side? He pulled Joy to the side?
Yeah, when they, at the end, when he was like trying to, this was Demetrius again. Of course, he coming after my favorite. That's my girl, right? I feel like that's my cousin or something. But that, she's got her sights on Cliff and Cliff got his sights on her. So why are we even talking about this? What is the conversation? These people might have found love. So y'all getting ready to break it up? Send the girl home? Why would you do that?
Well, they ain't connecting with me. So they gotta go.
I guess
that's how they think. Yeah.
So, I think I went through my list. I'll let you go, and I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
No, you can drag me through the mud if you need to. I want the real, but what I do want you to do though is I want you to go down your attractive list real quick, because I'm gonna do that for the women. I'm gonna do an attractive and a walk off the show list. So, and this is probably the last time I'm gonna do an attractive list because it's the cast is solidified, right? So it's not gonna be no new people or anything like that. So, let's just run down our attractive list for the season and go from there.
Okay, Laverne is most attractive.
Okay.
Clifton, Eric, Paul, Tori. I think Donovan, and then Demetrius.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, all right, let me get started with the ladies. First, let me do my attractive list, and this is gonna be the last time I do the attractive part. It's going to be number 1 is Sabrina. Number 2 is Christina. Number 3 is Dakia. Number 4 is Joy. 5 is Carmen. 6 is Ace, and 7 is Precious.
Okay.
All right. So let me go to let's do go to Dakia. I always go in the same order. So Dakia, she's I am kind of curious on what happened with her and Eric. That is something of concern. I can't really see Eric doing anything like it almost unless I find out what happened, I can't really judge the situation, but I'm wondering if she was being super like judgmental with him. But again, I don't know the story. So it's kind of hard to really judge where she's coming from. She did go out, make some more connections, good for her. But I mean, damn. I mean, if she just canceled her number one draft pick, that is that's kind of questionable. Um, it's just it's a big question mark. It's a huge question mark. So I can't really say anything yay or nay with the Kia because I don't know what happened. I can't imagine. I mean, just viewing, I can't imagine Eric doing anything that will cause the reaction that he got from the Kia. But unless he tried to make a move on her physically and anything else, I don't get. But anyway, um, so she's I don't know. She's a bit of a question mark.
Can I offer something on this one? This one, as you were talking, it hit me because I recently had an experience with a guy that was really cool, really nice, seems like harmless, and he, I hate to use the word assault, but he assaulted me. And he did it multiple times because I did like you. I said, I can't see that was intentional, that he did that to me. So let me try to figure out, right? So I asked him questions, this thing, you please don't do that to me again. You need to get his consent, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, I get that. It's been a while, got an excuse. Okay, right? And then when it happened again, I decided it's done, right? And felt shame because I allow it. So when you were talking about the Kia kind of cutting him off, it really might have been something bad though, Mike, because that was her first pick.
I'm not denying that. Yeah,
I'm not denying that. Whatever it was, what I would want for my Black people is for us to be okay with advocating for our needs.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, if he called out her name, if he snatched her arm out of socket, whatever it was, pushed too hard, went too far, we're all entitled to push back and say, I don't feel safe with you. I don't want to be bothered. That's it. That's all.
I agree. She has every right to say she's not going to date this guy. She's no longer pursuing him, no longer interested. She has every right to do that. What I'm saying is I'm gonna hold off judgment until I hear the story because I don't know what it is. He could be overreacting, she could be overreacting, but it's just one of those situations where, like I said, it's just a big question mark, and it does.
That he hurt.
I feel bad that happened to you. I mean, I didn't know. Well, I mean, it's not for me to know, but that's really messed up. Really messed up. Eric don't seem to be the type to come on physically to women like that. He seemed a little I don't want to say timid around women. Like Carmen had more energy and stuff like that than he did. So, and Carmen was not at all took him back by Eric in that way. So, and she knows him more than anybody. So I'm just concerned about what that's about. But yeah, it just struck me as strange that she would drop her. That's like Joy dropping Cliff. Like,
well, you'd have to imagine it must be something pretty big then.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Sabrina, she tripped me out. She made this comment about, she had a couple more drinks, she would go home with Donovan. I was like, wow.
I know, that was shocking to me. That seemed so out of character for her.
Yeah, it did seem out of character. I took her as this little petite little thing, and it didn't take away from her at all that she said that. I mean, she was really into the guy, that's dope, but I just felt like she was, she I don't really think she likes Tori like that. I think Tori is probably going to be the one gone next. I don't, especially now that Donovan's in the picture, I think it's going to be a Demetrius Donovan battle at this point. And even Demetrius is going to have to step his game up, which I'm sure you're going to like. But I didn't really see a whole lot from her this episode. I just seen her making some more connections and things like that. Tori is a bit of a, I don't know why I'm talking about him, but I don't know, man. He has foot in the mouth syndrome too. He keeps talking about the baby arm, and it always make the women cringe. I seen Precious, she was just cringe.
Which was surprising because she kind of leads with a sexual energy
exactly
herself.
Exactly.
Which
so I was surprised by both of them.
But it's okay.
But you would think that the guy would have learned his lesson from the last time, not to really be leading with that. But I guess that was his only connection with Precious. So I think he looked at her more of as a smash and dash. And I think like he looked at Sabrina as somebody he could fall in love with. But now he's given up on the smash because he didn't really get the reaction he wanted out of Precious. So now he's just focusing on the one he can love, and which is Sabrina, which Sabrina got other issues and other men to choose from. Yeah. So Tori, he might as well self-eliminate as far as I'm concerned.
Can I offer what I wrote about Donovan and Sabrina? I said their interaction is low energy. It's boring. But I don't know.
Blame that on production, though.
I think it's her. I think she's kind of dry. But I think it doesn't matter. She doesn't have to be high energy because she's so cute, right? But I don't know if I trust her. She's another one that I'm not sure I know who she likes.
I think I know who she likes. I know she likes Demetrius. I think she's getting to like Donovan. I think Tori is playing the background a lot these days. But I don't really have no issue with the way she's moving. I think she's kind of doing what you're supposed to do, date and get to know the people, and and that's what she's doing. And she probably had more of a spark with Donovan than she anticipated. I guess they both from Cali and got a bit of the same mentalities, got a lot of things in common. So I think she's kind of moving accordingly, actually. She so
I will say this, I would rather see her with Donovan than with Demetrius.
Why am I not surprised? For real.
I mean, I don't prefer her or anything. I just feel like I think Donovan is kind of even.
But it's right, but it's and this is why you think I'll be trying to beat you up. I'm not. I'm just saying it's a disdain for Demetrius that you have. You don't even wish happiness for the brother. You see what I'm saying? You going like, oh, well, she got to choose anybody. You weren't even checking for Donovan at first.
I think he's kind of feminine.
Yeah, and you put him, above the list.
I surely did.
So that's what I'm saying. Is
this man? And it's just the way he.
It seemed like it's something underlying that we're gonna get some counseling. Don't worry.
You think it's a dark skin thing? I love chocolate men. I got more chocolate men. Hey, I got more chocolate men in my body count than light skinned guys.
Ooh, okay.
Not that. Okay. I think chocolate men are sexy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's just something about him.
He reminds you of somebody. He reminds you of somebody that you don't like.
I just don't think I just don't like him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but see, it can't be that because you don't really know him.
I know. I don't prefer the way. I'm not attracted to him. I don't think he's attractive. Right. I just think he should be nicer and more gracious to people.
I don't. I could say that for Laverne, but
you could. He probably could too. I wish he would tone down his Gary edge, right? But you see my Gary edge showing up, right? Like it. I mean, everybody got an edge, right? But to bring it down, because on the show, it's a popularity contest.
Mm-hmm.
You're not making. I mean, you're not supposed to be making guy friends, but you kind of are. You do need to be cool with people so that they don't come after you or your connection. So not playing the strategy as well as I think he should.
And he's not a good listener. I know I keep saying that, but how are you going to pick your number one choice and everybody else pick the number two and you pick a number one? Vern just do what he want to do. And
do you think Paul picked his number two?
Paul?
Yeah.
As far as he felt joy was a possibility, I guess. But Paul been trying to get with a lot of women. He been trying to get with Sabrina. Sabrina really was his number one, but she shot him down, episode 2 or 3 or something like that. So, and then, the best thing that ever happened to him was Christina coming on the show. And then with the Truth or Dare, she chose him. So everybody like, oh, well, Paul got some skin in the game, And he didn't really have a number two really at that point. He was kind of floating in the water, so to speak, treading water until Christina came in. And now he kind of still is. So he's looking for a life raft. He's looking for joy. But joy is shutting down. Everybody see that. And let me get to joy. Let me just say that. Let me go to joy. Joy is just she's shutting down. And this is what happens halfway through every season. Every season, not just this one, every season. Some of the people began to shut down midway through the season. This happened with Walter in last season. He was ready to quit the show. But they said, just hang in there with us. It's only a couple more episodes. He like, look, all these women playing games. They on some pettiness. I ain't got time for this. And halfway through the season, people start shutting down. Joy is at that point now where she's shutting down, where she wants to just take Cliff and ride off into the sunset. It's as simple as that. And right now, I'm kind of worried about her because she's starting to become a little rude with it. You know what I mean?
A thug life.
Like, yeah. She's starting to thug out with it and like, look, Demetri, me and you, it's a no-go. Okay, it ain't. And then with P.O., it's like, I don't even know why he brung me on this date. Okay. and you know what I mean? Joy is just like, you can see her shutting down. And she's just like, I'm tired of juggling. She even said that. I'm tired of the process.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just pick my person and just be done, And I can honestly see her shutting down. Is that I don't know if that's a plus or a minus for her. I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, which equals out to 0. But it's a plus. I think it's a plus that she's honing in on who she likes, but it's a minus on how she's portraying it or responding. You know what I mean? You ain't got to be rude, just like you said. You ain't got to be rude. Just just relay the message and still be respectful. You know what I mean? Now she didn't say all of that to Paul. I think she was fairly respectful to Paul. Demetri, I don't know.
Maybe there's something about Demetri to women that you might not be getting.
That's possible. I'm not there, but you're only talking about Joy. Okay, she's the only one who really said that. Christina is interested in him. Sabrina is interested in him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he got interest, as far as I'm concerned, from the top two women. So who cares about the rest? As far as if I'm Dimitri, that's how I would be. I got the top two women interested in me. So and it's a little early to say that him and Christina she's interested in him. It's a little early for that.
I didn't get that strong of a signal from her, but we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't get that strong of a signal from her too, but she's definitely, I think she's interested, but I don't think she's can be solidified as a number two. You know what I mean? I just think that they're starting to get to know each other because they have some preconceived notions about each other. So, but Joy, I'll put it this way. She was on a pedestal, but she's off the pedestal right now. That don't mean that don't mean she's not still number one. It just means she's not pedestalized anymore. What'd you say?
Joy was raised by her father. And I feel like that's where that edge, because this is the thing, and I don't teach my daughter this, so she's gonna be like Joy, and it's gonna be bad for her. But there's a coyness that women have to play with men, and Joy has the playfulness, but she's never gonna be coy. And I think that you can tell she's irritated with the process. Just like she said, I wrote down, she said, I'm getting bored with this process because for me to stay on here, I gotta keep wasting my time with y'all. I only want this one person. Why can't y'all just let me just date this one person? If that would be what she wanted. That's why she jumped up, smiled, ran over, kissed, cause like, I've been wanting to kiss that man. Like, she's not even being mean about saying, I am passionate about this one guy. Right? I kind of want y'all to get me off y'all radar, if you could. And so, to me, that's honest. That's not playing games. She's not playing games.
It's honest. It's serious, but there is still a way to relate a message without being
yes. Now, if she had been like that to Laverne, would I have been mad at her? I would have laughed because I would be like, it's my favorite girl. It's my favorite guy, right? Like, how do I get to, but yeah. I would have been honored by her saying, it's not you, bro. It's him. And I've been clear about it. He clear about me. Why we on this date? Now, she didn't have to say that, but she didn't. She said it in her confessional. She didn't actually
right.
I think she was trying to be nice to Demetrius. She was like, what do you feel like is going on between you and I? Like she's like, before I break your heart into a million pieces, what do you think is going on with us? Because for her, as far as she's concerned, he's not on her radar at all.
Yeah, but you gotta be open to blind dates. I mean, I'm not sure how. Well, you got to get to know them to like them, really, right? I mean, attraction is only the first layer. You got to get to know them to like them. So how else is she gonna, just like he did with Christina, right? They might have had an attraction towards each other, but they're not gonna like each other unless they get to know each other. And that's why he invited her on a date, to get to know her. And it was a good thing he did that, because it got rid of a lot of preconceived, notions about him and judgments about him.
I wonder why he has those.
Why he has what? Preconceived?
Why do people have preconceived notions about him?
Well, I will acknowledge the guy is not the most transparent, but you're dealing with a military guy, and he just moves differently than a Cliff would, so to speak. Cliff, he read the room and he mingles. He mingles with everybody. Military guy, he's gonna be more strategic. It just is what it is. And it depends on whatever personality you're more attracted to. That would depend on what guy you go after. So if he's not that guy, then then that's you. Tamara. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to Precious. Precious, her last chance was with Tori, And I think we said something about that last season, like they better connect or they both in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. They both in trouble. So, and I think they're going to go in that order.
Yeah.
You know, Tori and then and Precious, or Precious and Tori, whichever one. No fault of any one of theirs. They gave it an old college try. They gave it a shot. They went out to dinner. It was no sparks. Uh, you know, Tori wanted to try to hook her in a sexual way, you know, and surprisingly she wasn't up for. I think she don't want to be labeled as some kind of party girl or some kind of smash and dash chick, so she was not very receptive to it. I think what Demetrius said, only the messenger, as the messenger said, she was a party girl or whatever. So I think she's trying her hardest to get rid of that image, and she can't be, you know, accepting all these innuendos. If she want the other guys to take her serious, so she was on her so-called best behavior on this date, you know, and Tori was like, "Look, I'm here for this, that, and the third, pretty much." But long story short, they didn't make the connection, and I think they're both in jeopardy because of it. I see Precious going, sweet girl. Don't want to see her go. Don't want to see none of the women go at this point, but somebody got to go, and I think it's going to be her next.
Wait, she did go today, didn't she?
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Dang. Yeah, she did. She did go. They did send her home. So yeah, I think Tori's going to be next. So, you know, it ain't the end of the world if you get eliminated from RTL. You know, there's somebody else out there for you. But
I wrote down Precious left like a queen, because I think because I remember Demetrius said that she was doing damage control. And so just like you said, she's trying to change her image, but really you got to love you. And if your energy is sexual and that's your way to move, that's what you got to take that on the chin. Because if she tries to be somebody she's not, it's not going to work anyway. Right. But I think that the difference between like her and Carmen is Carmen has a better figure. And Carmen is just next level with it. And but it could ultimately burn her too, because and men will give you what you're asking for, but they will and they won't choose you. And that's just a delicate dance women gotta play. You gotta be careful with it, because that's just how it goes. I don't think it's fair, but I think that's just the way it is.
I agree, and it's the same, the opposite too. Not so much women if they don't give you nothing. Really, if they
don't give you nothing?
If they don't feel you, they're not giving you nothing. Men, if they don't feel you, they'll still give you something, but they won't choose you.
Yeah.
But women, they won't give you nothing. No innuendos, no.
Which I would rather men don't give you nothing if you're not interested, because that leads the woman to think something differently. Because we the way we internalize sex is different the way you guys internalize sex, right? So for you, it's you know, her ass is big, I do it. But for her, especially if it was great, there's more of an emotional exchange in that way.
Yeah, because with women, it's like, oh, I got him. And then with men, it's like, oh, I got it. You know, so they internalize sex differently. So it's just how nature's set us up. So, and, you know, it's a consensus across the board. It will be easier, but, you know, I think one of us has to be a little more open. I think men are more open, because if that were the case, nobody will be hooking up. It's just it'll be a lot less people on this planet if men were had the
Would turn down when
the
it's thrown at them.
requirements that women, if men acted like women, there would probably be nobody here, to be honest.
Oh my God. That's another show. We need a topic on that one.
Yes, we
I
do.
do not
Exactly.
agree with you, but let's
we're gonna yeah, and it's part of the Kevin Samuel series we're gonna do here pretty soon.
Please stop. You already had me riled up the first 10 minutes in. I didn't settle down and you bring up that dude.
Well, I have to keep you on your toes, dear.
Continue.
The next up is Ace. I like Ace. Like I said, she was twerking on the last episode and she's opening up to me. But she still is pretty much the Demetrius of the women. She is kind of blah. She is, you don't really see much of her, but that could also be internalized as peace. So if a man is looking for peace, Ace is your girl. Is that really her real name? I mean,
it's probably not.
You see what I'm saying? All of these, and we talk about mystery and mysterious and stuff like that. I bet that ain't even her real name. Like, what's going on with you? Like, she picked a profession as philanthropist. Now you got to be rich to be a philanthropist, right? Or know how to give money or whatever. So maybe she a trust fund baby. I don't even know what her real career is. I don't know what her real name is. I don't know how she really feels about things. She's as ambiguous as Demetrius is about her feelings.
That's true, because I don't even get that she likes Laverne. I did not get that from their interaction. I also didn't get that he likes her either. I feel like he picks an easy target and
right.
And they're both hitching their wagon to each other.
Exactly.
Now, the thing that they have to do is, if Ace doesn't make a different connection outside of Laverne, she's gone, because there's nothing else there.
Exactly.
And then Laverne has the same problem.
Exactly.
But how come we don't say the same about Joy and Clifton, though?
Because Joy and Clifton, it was organic with them. You could see it from day one. I mean, they sat next to each other day one. It was an organic connection, and everybody's rooting for organic connections, not manufactured connections, just to stay on the show or whatever the case may be. And Joy, Cliff, organic. Vern, Ace, manufactured. See what I'm saying?
I agree. I saw that.
Yeah. So that's the difference, and that's why everybody's rooting for Joy and Cliff. Carmen is, I don't know. She's sexy. She is. I did see. I have to say this. I wasn't really feeling her crapping on Dakia. I wasn't really feeling that either. I don't necessarily. I'm gonna contradict myself, because I'm gonna say I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because it don't concern the men, right? That's not a man problem. If a woman is competing with another woman for her man, we don't necessarily look at that as a bad thing. Compete for us too. You know what I mean? If you want us, rock with her. Now, is it in bad girl spirit? Do it have bad girl vibes? It does. It seemed like something that maybe Azadia would do. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it has bad girl vibes, but it is of no consequence to the men. So we don't really, as far as my point of view, I don't really look at it like something that's I just look at her as a woman who goes after what she wants.
Yeah. I'm competitive, right? Watching Carmen is having me to be real honest with myself. And I'm competitive. And I didn't know it. My team at work's like, Tamara, you're competitive about all kinds of stuff. Okay, great. But I'm competitive with me. Mm-hmm. I want to one up me. I'm not trying to one up somebody else. So to me, I know Carmen says it often that she's competitive. I think men should pay attention to that. That's not only going to be competitive with other women. She is going to be competitive with you too. Just
fair point.
I thought that from the beginning. And and it might not be a bad thing. You might just be able to correct and say, hey baby, stop being competitive. I'm the man, sit down. And it may work, right? But that's the energy I get from her.
That is a fair point. That's a good point. That is something to look at as a man, her competing with you, because it looked like she will try to compete with her man. I seen more of that in this episode than I have in previous episodes. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, you could tell she had a little friendly competition with Dekia, with Eric at the beginning, but it was never like, I never seen her compete with the men at all, like challenging the men. I only see her challenging women. Mm-hmm. And Dekia specifically. So because they were, checking for the same guy. But I never seen her be combative, argumentative, or try and do any of that with any of the men. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say it's kind of a zero-sum game for the men, because she don't come to us with that. She only come to the women with that. Now, if we talking about playing sports or whatever, she says she's competitive. That's good. I love a competitive woman in other things, in sports and things like that. But in relationships, no. But could that manifest into her being competitive with the men in a relationship? It very well could. So that's a fair point. Carmen is I still think she's dope chick. I think a guy will be very lucky to have her. I actually think that she's like the PO of the women. Very competitive, very ambitious, can be awkward, off-putting sometimes. Mm-hmm. But got that attraction level, got that, I don't know if PO got this, but she got sex appeal. And yeah, so she's sort of the PO of the women. I'm gonna stop saying PO. That's just ridiculous.
I know. Please call the man Paul.
Yeah, that's Paul. I'm gonna call him man Paul. Okay. I don't know why that's stuck in my head, but yeah, Paul. But like I say, she seemed like she would be cool to be with. So I still ride for Carmen for that, because she don't do nothing egregious with the man. She is a man's woman. All right, and yeah, that and I guess last but not least is Christina. Christina, I like Christina. I think she's cool. I don't like when people prejudge other people. Like, based off of what? You just walked into the camp and you just prejudged. I mean, it's part of human nature. It helps us get around in the world. So all of us make prejudgments, including me. Mm-hmm. But you could very well be wrong.
Do you remember when she first had a conversation with Laverne, and he was being edgy about Gary and her not knowing that Michael Jackson was from Gary, but she immediately shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when she mentioned that about Demetrius, I was like, people aren't gonna notice this because she's so pretty, but there's something there.
Yeah, she's judgmental. I think she's pretty judgmental. She's judgmental with Laverne. She was judgmental with Dimitri. And what I think about her is that will carry on. She will, even if she's in a relationship with you, she's going to be judgmental of everything that you do and have her own little preset ideas, and they're going to take over. This is probably why she's not in a relationship right now, is because anything outside of perfection to her is going to get judged, and she can slowly wither away her interest in you and then be out of a relationship. Oh, he didn't put the toilet seat down. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he didn't take me on a date. Oh, he didn't spend this amount of money. Oh, and then all these and some women do this. They'll prejudge you all the way down to they don't want to be in a relationship, and she seems like that type of a woman. Dimitri already had a knock on him. I mean, she came in hot, like, you don't even know me. Why are you what is all these prejudge? She thought he was a player. Like, I just don't like people who prejudge. Again, I know we all do it. It helps us get around in the world, but oftentimes it's negative. It's negative prejudgments, and it's just super whack. I don't really like women like that. I'm not going to prejudge her for that, but I have noticed, I've taken note of that and say, beautiful woman, but I can kind of see where this is going. She's going to be the type of chick that you're going to always try to jump through hoops and hurdles just to try to keep pleasing her. And if you don't do that, she's gonna prejudge you, and then you're gonna be out of a relationship, and then you're gonna be wasting a whole bunch of time. So again, but I ain't gonna prejudge her. So
the thing about her is why I think her and Paul might work out, because Paul is so much more mature than her. He ain't gonna jump
only in age.
Yeah, but I think for her, maybe somebody who has things pretty well together would be the only way she wouldn't judge him, that she would give him a little grace. And that's where I don't think when her and Dimitri, even how they kind of switch things around and seem like they ended on a good note, I'm like, I feel like Paul is a better match for her, because she is looking for someone. If you said perfection, I usually don't think like that. Not that Paul is perfect, but Paul is established, and maybe everybody else is too. But I feel like he is not seeking that approval. He's established in his own right. I don't know that will bother him if somebody prejudged him. So
it will bother him, because I'm gonna tell you, she's gonna prejudge Paul too, and he don't take me as a very sure man who he does seem sure of himself, but I think a woman can knock him down. I think a woman can knock him down.
A woman can knock any man down.
But that's what I'm saying. And she will slowly wear on him, and it would actually take somebody like Laverne because you can't really knock Laverne down, even though he is down. I mean, he's gonna be.
He don't believe it.
He don't believe it. He's gonna be looking for his mouthpiece like Mike Tyson did, or like Nate Robinson. But he just feels like, I'm just the stuff, and I'm and I think that's a turnoff for her with Laverne, because she probably know this guy's too confident for me. I can't knock him down like I want to. So I gotta move on. I gotta find a softer target because I can't take this confident banter because it's gonna be too much work to psychologically beat his ass. Pretty much.
You know what's so funny? How you talking about this woman? You earlier you said she's one of the top 2 women.
I said in looks. I said in looks. She is the top 2 in looks, but I don't think I had her that high as far as walk off. As a matter of fact, I had her number 5 as walk off the show with, and she's still about there. She's still around there. She's awesome. A cool chick. She's a cool chick. Don't get me wrong. I would just be like, she's still a little young too. So I think she's more into probably, I hate to say mind games than the rest of the women. She's probably more into mind game. The rest of them are looking like, look, I want my one and I'm good. Like Joy, right? Joy is like, I want my one. I think even the key is that at that point, I want my one. But I think Christina may, she may be coming out of that, but she's still in the psychological play games type of, and if she can't play games with you, your confidence on 10, like, look, well, his is on 1,000, but if your confidence is on 1,000, like Laverne, she ain't gonna waste her time because she can't play those kid games with him. So just I mean, like, again, I'm not prejudging her, but we all do it. That's my observation for now for her, but I'm not gonna.
You know what, Mike? I ain't even beat you up about it.
Yeah, well, when it makes sense, how can you? I was on my Laverne right there, but anyway. But yeah, that's the ladies. I didn't do a walk-off list this time, but maybe next time. But just sad to see Precious go. Precious girl, she's dope. She'll be all right. I guess next week is going to be the men. Don't be surprised if you see Eric go, depending on what happened.
Well, it seemed like Dakia self-eliminated herself. Did she?
No. She didn't self-eliminate herself. She just said, I ain't dating him no more.
How's she gonna stay on the show? And okay.
She got other connections. She does.
She does.
Yeah. So I think she's just gonna explore more guys now.
What'd he do? She's
probably gonna try to steal Cliff.
Well, if they're gonna be trying to let Joy go, it'd be easy to do, but he won't end up with her. I mean, they might end up at the end, but I would imagine him and Joy would date. At least explore it.
Yeah. Cliff seemed to be feeling it a little bit too. So yeah, she got other connections. She just ain't rocking with him no more. Depending on what he did, he may be the next to go. So it may even save Tori.
Yeah, because he just seemed like he was shook up. Like, man, I hurt her feelings, and like.
Yeah, because I seen that.
He feel like he took responsibility for whatever it was.
That's true, but we're not gonna prejudge. We're gonna have to wait.
I'm not judging. I'm just.
No. That was a good observation. I agree with you. Actually, I'm right there with you. It did look like he took ownership. But he seemed like a stand-up guy to me, so I wouldn't expect him to do anything else, right, wrong, or indifferent. I would expect him to do that.
Here's the thing: we all got issues,
Facts.
And when we operate out of issues, we can do things that are uncharacteristic of ourselves. And not to say that he has some or whatever. But it's interesting. All the seasons of Ready to Love, the last 2, we've had some incidents, and it makes me nervous actually, because how do we get I wish we could have a show about love that doesn't have a violent part of it.
Well, we're assuming here that is
Well,
violent.
I'm not saying, but I know that last season there was a violent part. Now, oh boy, wasn't intending to, but Black folks, we got trauma, and it plays itself out in our
Wait,
relationships.
refresh my memory on last season violence.
Oh boy, what's her name? The sex therapist, the Shiloh.
Oh
Shiloh
yeah. With Phil, yeah.
and Phil.
Mhm.
That thing. I mean, he had his intentions on why he picked her up, but and again,
But was that violence though?
we got trauma. She had trauma. I
She
don't
had.
know if the kid got trauma or Eric got the trauma, right? But I know in my particular case that I kind of alluded to, the person, he had trauma. And for him, the way he sees a woman is not the way he should see women, in my opinion. I'm not a therapist. But I it hurts me to see it play itself out on TV. It just bothers me. I really ride for Black folks and Black love, and to hear that, because I thought those two were going to end up together. I felt it made me sad. That's all I can say.
I feel you. I'm 100% there with you. I agree. It does, look a certain type of way for it to play out on TV. Good for ratings, but bad for the culture. Um,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I wish we could talk through stuff, right? Like where people could be vulnerable and admit and apologize and try to move forward. I mean, and I don't know that they tried or didn't try, right? I'm not saying she cut him off too fast, but I know for me, I tend to try to understand the other person. Now, it's to the detriment of myself, which is why I told you in the beginning I was proud of her, because me, I let people get one, two, three goals on me before I honestly say, you know what, that doesn't work for me.
right,
I'm trying
right,
to be so understanding of this person's perspective. I have to honor myself and say, whatever it was, whether he called my mama a hoe or whatever he said, whatever he did,
right,
it doesn't work for me.
right, right.
And that should be okay. We
Yeah,
have to be
yeah, yeah. I
make them.
just, yeah. One thing I agree with that. I just think that men, keep your hands to yourself. To all the queens out there, they don't need men putting hands on them, especially if you're not established as being a protector of theirs, a man of theirs, a husband of theirs. um, Men have to do a better job of that, and keeping their hands to themselves. I'm still feeling the way that what you revealed today and about your story. So um, that that's pissing me off. So I would say to all the men, keep your damn hands to yourself. Facts. And that's why I never do that with any women. Some may want me to touch them more, but I just but I'm just so careful with that I don't, it kind of makes me not be like that. So and also I would say to women, um we have to recognize intention. Okay, we have to recognize intention. Because a man is picking you up to safety and taking you to safety does not mean he's, assaulting you or being physically abusive to you. So that's where the women have to do work, is recognizing and recognizing intention. The Shiloh Field situation, I wasn't there. I don't know the whole ins and outs to it. Outside looking in, it looked like he had her best intentions in mind in getting her to safety. And if you have someone who is not listening to you and want to walk down a cold dark alley by herself all because she mad at you, that's not enough reason to um allow her to enter into potential danger. As a man, your number one job as a man is to protect. So uh like I said this last time, like, you know I can't say that I would have moved any different than Phil. I can't. and I may even be wrong for that, but I'd rather you be safe and mad at me than happy I let you go down a dark alley and something happened to you.
Yeah.
That's the part I can't live
And
with.
I think that's where us people, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox, that's where we have to be able to cut away some of the ego, the chips on our shoulders or whatever, and be vulnerable and say, hey, the reason why that scared me that you did that is this happened to me, right? And then you say, well, that wasn't my intent, and really receive, like, because we judge people on actions, not their intentions, because we don't know what somebody's intention is unless we talk about it, right? Which is why in my situation, he got away with it once because I tried my best not to judge the intention, even though I knew it was out of bounds for me. And when we talked about it, there was a reasonable explanation. So I thought we were clear on expectations and how to move forward. But when it happened again, I had to say, okay, that's enough data for me. I don't need a third go. I'm done with it, right? I'm explaining to you for the second time, but I need you away from me because clearly what your mindset is and my mindset, we're just not aligned, and we don't have to it doesn't have to escalate any further. And what I wished for Shiloh and Phil is that they could have, when cooler heads prevailed, talked it through. But I just think she was too far gone and just couldn't receive his point of view.
Right.
And I would think Dakia might be a little bit more reasonable, but I don't know. I wasn't there, right? So we'll find out. But this is the stuff that makes me sad because I love Black love. I ride for Black love, and
facts.
You know, so I hate when I'm looking forward to a couple and they like them, man. I really wanted Eric to end up with Dakia.
Yeah, I even wanted Shiloh to end up with Phil.
I did too, because I did not think Phil and old girl were a good match. When I found out they weren't together, I was like, of course they're not together, because that didn't seem like a good match. But
yeah, and it seemed like it's always those connections. I don't know, maybe connections going wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because it seemed like those connections, those good connections, that's turning bad, that seems to go all the way bad. Like even with Eric, I think maybe that one was going bad because I think Carmen was in the picture a little too much, and but that's just
speculation.
Yeah, it's just how it looks. But I mean, it seemed like that way with Shiloh and Phil too, because as soon as Sydney got into the picture, then it started going bad.
Yeah, because I've noticed him getting a little fuzzy with her, and I think that was all putting her in an away state. She could tell, right? He wasn't answering questions. He was being a little aloof, and and so maybe that's a component of this too. Well, hopefully we find out.
Yeah. Hopefully we find out what happened. Hopefully it wasn't anything physical.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want it to be anything at this point, but it has to be something that he did that she felt uncomfortable with. So we'll find out more in the next episode. But as for this one, that'll wrap this one up.
This was intense.
Oh man. And it was very interesting. So we'll have to see what goes on next season. And I'm kind of expecting a lot of surprises next episode. Maybe some new couples coupling up, maybe a lot of number 2 couples coupling up, and we'll see. But you got any last words?
I agree with you that there's going to be some surprises, but it's intense. But that's how love is supposed to be. You go big or you go home, right? You go hard or it's lame to me.
Yeah.
And so, just like even us on our opposite ends of the Demetrius Laverne argument, you ride passionately for what you think is right, and that's all we can all do authentically. And so. I look forward to see what's gonna happen. I think my boo gonna get voted off, but I also think that's probably right for him because I wouldn't want to see him end up with Ace because I don't believe it. And so I'm okay if Laverne goes because I don't think his match is on the show anyway. So
yeah. So,
and I really wish people ended up together that should be together. Like I wish the show would just actually do what it's supposed to do. And I know it's entertaining, so it probably never will.
Yeah.
But I wish it would.
Ready to Love, y'all should do a spinoff. A lot of shows did a spinoff. Married at First Sight did spinoffs where they follow the couples afterwards. You know, y'all should do a spinoff with you know, the couples that actually survived the process. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Leave in the comments if y'all agree with me or not. But that'll wrap this one up. Thanks for joining us. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. And check out the t-shirts, check out the NFTs, and we will check y'all on the next one. Peace.
Bye.